Have you ever caught yourself doing something and thought, I sound just like my mother? Or, I'm acting exactly like my father? Maybe you've struggled with the same anxieties your grandmother had. Or you've noticed you're repeating the same relationship patterns that played out in your parents' marriage. It's an eerie feeling, isn't it? Like you're living out a script that was written long before you were born. Here's what most people don't realize. Those patterns, those fears, those inexplicable reactions you have to certain situations, they didn't necessarily start with you. In fact, many of them might go back generations. Your great-grandmother's unprocessed grief, your grandfather's survival strategies during wartime, your parents' childhood wounds. These things don't just disappear when someone dies. They get passed down, woven into the fabric of your family's emotional DNA, shaping how you think, feel, and move through the world. Buddhism has understood this for over 2,000 years through the concept of karma. But here's where it gets really interesting. In the last few decades, Western science has caught up with ancient wisdom. Researchers studying epigenetics have discovered something remarkable. Trauma can actually change your DNA. Not just metaphorically, but literally. And those changes can be inherited by your children and grandchildren, even if they never experienced the original trauma themselves. Think about that for a moment. Your grandmother survived a famine, and her body learned to hold on to every calorie. That survival mechanism, that deep cellular memory of scarcity, might be why you struggle with your relationship with food today, even though you've never gone hungry. Your grandfather witnessed violence and learned to shut down his emotions to survive. That numbness, that inability to fully feel and express, might be why your father struggled to show affection, and why you now have trouble being vulnerable in your relationships. The Dalai Lama once said, "If you think you are too small to make a difference, try sleeping with a mosquito." The same is true of healing. You might think your personal healing journey is small, insignificant in the grand scheme of things. But when you heal yourself, you heal your entire lineage. You become the mosquito that changes everything. This is what we're going to explore today. Not to make you feel trapped by your family's past, but to set you free from it. Because here's the beautiful truth that both Buddhism and modern science agree on. You can break the cycle. You can be the one who transforms generations of pain into healing. Let me tell you something that might change how you see your struggles. In Buddhism, we talk about karma, not as punishment, but as momentum. The Buddha taught in the Dhammapada, all that we are is the result of what we have thought. It is founded on our thoughts. It is made up of our thoughts. Every action, every thought, every intention creates momentum, an energetic pattern that continues until something interrupts it. When your ancestors went through traumatic experiences and couldn't fully process them, that unresolved energy didn't just vanish. It became part of the momentum they passed to their children, who passed it to theirs, and eventually to you. In the Majjhima Nikaya, the Buddha spoke about how karma operates across multiple lifetimes, creating patterns that persist until we develop the awareness and wisdom to transform them. But this isn't about blame. This is crucial to understand. Your ancestors weren't bad people. They weren't trying to burden you. They were doing the absolute best they could with the resources, understanding, and support they had available. Your grandmother, who was always anxious, she was probably dealing with survival trauma from war or poverty. Your father, who couldn't express love, He likely learned that vulnerability equals danger. They weren't choosing to be this way. They were carrying weights they didn't know how to put down. The Buddha taught that holding onto anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. The same is true of holding on to inherited trauma. Carrying your family's unprocessed pain doesn't honor them. It doesn't help them. It just keeps the suffering going. The way to truly honor your ancestors is to heal what they couldn't, to transform what they couldn't transform, to find the peace they couldn't find. The Dalai Lama teaches something profound about this. He says, "We can never obtain peace in the outer world until we make peace with ourselves." Your healing begins within, and it ripples outward through time, touching everyone in your lineage, those who came before and those who will come after. Let me share a story that illustrates this beautifully. There was a woman, let's call her Sarah, who struggled with intense anxiety her entire life. She would have panic attacks before any kind of confrontation, even small ones like returning something to a store or speaking up in a meeting. She described it as feeling like her life was in danger, even when rationally she knew she was safe. Through therapy and meditation practice, Sarah started exploring her family history. She discovered that her grandmother had fled a war-torn country as a young woman. Her grandmother had witnessed neighbors being taken away in the middle of the night. Speaking up, drawing attention to yourself, questioning authority, these things could literally get you killed. So her grandmother learned to be invisible, to never make waves, to see confrontation as life-threatening. Her grandmother never talked about this. She pushed it down, tried to move on, built a new life. But that trauma lived in her body, and she passed it to Sarah's mother, who grew up in a household where expressing disagreement felt dangerous, where her mother's nervous system was constantly on high alert. And then Sarah's mother, without meaning to, passed that same pattern to Sarah. But here's where it gets powerful. Once Sarah understood this, everything shifted. She could look at her panic attacks with compassion instead of shame. She wasn't broken. She wasn't weak. She was carrying her grandmother's survival strategy, something that had actually kept her grandmother alive. The problem was, Sarah didn't need that strategy anymore. She was safe now, but her body didn't know that yet. Through Buddhist practices, meditation, mindfulness, loving kindness, combined with therapy, Sarah started to teach her nervous system a new truth. She started to interrupt that generations-old pattern of momentum. She became what we call a cycle breaker. Now, you might be thinking, that's a dramatic story, but my family wasn't in a war. My trauma isn't that significant. But here's what you need to understand. Trauma isn't a competition. It's not about how bad things were. It's about what was overwhelming to your system or your ancestors' systems at the time. Maybe your family didn't face war, but did they face poverty? Did they experience discrimination? Did they lose children to illness in an era before modern medicine? Did they immigrate and lose everything familiar? Did they grow up in households where showing emotion was considered weak? Did they experience betrayal, abandonment, or shame that they never talked about? Western science confirms what Buddhism has taught for millennia. Studies have shown that children of Holocaust survivors show genetic markers related to stress hormones that are different from the general population. The trauma their parents endured literally changed their biology. Similar patterns have been found in descendants of slavery, in communities affected by genocide, in families touched by war. But, and this is crucial, the research also shows something hopeful. These patterns can be changed. Healing is possible. The brain is neuroplastic, meaning it can form new patterns. Your nervous system can learn safety. Your body can release what it's been holding. Think of your family line as a river that's been flowing for generations. That river has picked up sediment along the way. The pain, the coping strategies, the survival mechanisms. By the time it reaches you, the water is clouded with generations of accumulated sediment. You didn't put all that sediment there, but you're the one swimming in that water right now. You have two choices. You can keep swimming in that clouded water, letting it affect your vision, your direction, your ability to see clearly. Or you can become a filter. You can start clearing the water. Not all at once, that would be overwhelming, but little by little. And here's the beautiful part. When you clear your section of the river, you're not just helping yourself. You're cleaning the water that flows to the next generation. Your children, if you have them or plan to, your nieces and nephews, the young people in your life, they'll receive cleaner water because you did the work. Buddhist teachings talk about this through the concept of samsara, the cycle of suffering that continues until we wake up and interrupt it. In the Lotus Sutra, the Buddha teaches that we all have the Buddha nature within us, the capacity for complete awakening. Your family's trauma doesn't define you. Beneath all those layers of inherited pain is your true nature, pure and free, waiting to be discovered. Thich Nhat Hanh, the beloved Vietnamese Zen master, taught about interbeing, the understanding that we are not separate from our ancestors or our descendants. He said, "We are the continuation of our ancestors. When we heal ourselves, we heal our ancestors and our descendants at the same time." This isn't just poetry. This is the reality of how consciousness and energy work across generations. So how do we actually break free from family karma? The first step is awareness. You can't heal what you can't see. Start paying attention to your patterns. When do you feel anxiety that seems bigger than the situation warrants? When do you react in ways that surprise even you? Buddhism teaches us to become the observer of our own mind. The Buddha said, "The mind is everything. What you think, you become." Most of us are so identified with our patterns that we think they are us. I'm an anxious person. I'm bad at relationships. But when you observe with distance, you realize these are programs running in me, not me. And programs can be changed. Start asking questions about your family history with genuine curiosity. What did your parents struggle with? Are there patterns of addiction, depression, or financial stress? Are there family secrets no one talks about? These silent stories often carry the most weight. The Dalai Lama reminds us, when you realize you've made a mistake, take immediate steps to correct it. Once you see inherited patterns, you can begin to work with them. The seeing itself is already transformation. When you start seeing these patterns, your first instinct might be to judge yourself. I should be over this by now. Why can't I just be normal? But judgment creates more suffering, not healing. The Buddha taught, "You yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection." Try this. When you notice a pattern, place your hand on your heart and speak to yourself like you would to a frightened child. These patterns are frightened children in your lineage who needed protection. Sit quietly and imagine your parents behind you, their parents behind them, stretching back through time, all doing their best to survive and love. Now speak to them. May you be at peace. May you be free from suffering. May you know that I'm doing the work you couldn't do. May you know that I forgive you. You might feel anger, resistance, and grief. That's okay. Let those feelings come. The Dalai Lama teaches, if you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. This is what transforms karma. Trauma isn't just stored in your thoughts, it's in your body. Tense shoulders, clenched jaw, collapsed chest. The Buddha taught mindfulness of the body as one of the 4 foundations of mindfulness. Transformation happens not just in the mind, but in the lived experience of being in a body. Start bringing awareness to your body throughout the day. When you notice tension, breathe into it. Sometimes a memory or feeling might arise. Your tight jaw might soften, and you feel the anger your father never expressed. Movement practices like yoga, tai chi, or even walks in nature can be incredibly healing. The Buddha taught, breathing in long, one knows I am breathing in long. This simple awareness is how we release what has been held for generations. Thich Nhat Hanh taught, breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. When you bring gentle awareness to your body, you're healing your grandmother's body that never got to rest. Once you've developed awareness and practiced compassion, you can intentionally create new ways of being. Let's say your family pattern is avoiding conflict. Everyone sweeps problems under the rug until there are explosive fights or cold silences. Now, you get to make a different choice. Next time you'd normally avoid, you pause. You recognize, this is the family pattern activating. You breathe. Then you try something new. Maybe you speak up gently. Maybe you say, I need to talk about this because avoiding it isn't working anymore. It won't feel natural. Your system will scream danger. But you do it anyway, with compassion for yourself. And you survive. You've just created a new data point for your nervous system. The Buddha taught, however many holy words you read, what good will they do if you do not act upon them? Every time you choose differently, you're planting new seeds. The Dalai Lama says, choose to be optimistic. It feels better. Healing involves grief because you're letting go of survival strategies that once served a purpose. Your grandmother's lost dreams, the childhood you deserved but didn't get because your parents were still wounded children inside. Buddhism doesn't shy away from grief. The Buddha's first noble truth is that suffering exists. He said, first, acknowledge it, feel it. Only then can you work with it skillfully. So cry when you need to. Feel the anger. Write letters to ancestors you never met. This isn't dwelling in negativity. This is honoring truth so it can be released. As you heal, you start to see your family differently. Your difficult mother becomes a wounded girl who never learned she was worthy. The Dalai Lama teaches, love and compassion are necessities, not luxuries. This doesn't mean maintaining harmful relationships. You can have compassion and still have boundaries. Healing means seeing clearly and choosing consciously how to move forward. One of the most profound teachings in Buddhism is the concept of interdependence. The Buddha taught in the doctrine of dependent origination that nothing exists in isolation. Everything affects everything else. You are not separate from your family, from your ancestors, from the long line of humans who came before you. Their joys and sorrows live in you. When you heal yourself, you heal your lineage. When you break a pattern in your life, you create the possibility of freedom for generations to come. Think about the children in your life, or the children you might have one day. Imagine them growing up free from the anxiety that plagued your grandmother, free from the shame that haunted your mother, free from the rage your father couldn't express. Imagine them having emotional tools and awareness that took your family line centuries to access. Imagine them knowing their worth without having to fight for it, expressing their feelings without fear, loving without terror of abandonment. This is possible. This is what you're creating when you do this work. In the Avatamsaka Sutra, there's a beautiful teaching about Indra's net, an infinite net where each intersection holds a jewel that reflects all other jewels. When you polish one jewel, all the jewels shine brighter. When you change, the entire net changes. When you heal, the entire lineage shifts. The Dalai Lama often speaks about universal responsibility. He says, "Every action has a consequence. What we do with our lives makes a difference in the lives of others." Your healing is not a selfish act. It's a gift to everyone connected to you, past and future. It's an act of service to consciousness itself. And something else happens too. As you do this work, you'll likely find that you become a healing presence for people around you right now. The compassion you've developed for yourself and your lineage naturally extends to others. You can hold space for other people's pain without being consumed by it. You become like a tree that's weathered storms, still standing, offering shade and shelter. There's a Buddhist concept called the Bodhisattva vow. A Bodhisattva is someone who commits to enlightenment not just for themselves, but for all beings. They vow to return again and again until everyone is free from suffering. That might sound grandiose, but I think we can bring it down to earth. When you commit to healing your family karma, you're taking a Bodhisattva vow in the most practical sense. You're saying, "I will bear witness to this suffering. I will feel what needs to be felt. I will do what needs to be done. Not because I'm special, but because I'm here, and I'm willing, and I can." You're saying, the cycle of unconscious suffering stops here. It's been passed down long enough. I'm going to be the one who transforms it. That's not arrogance. That's courage. That's love in action. That's what the Buddha meant when he taught about right intention as part of the Eightfold Path. The Buddha taught in the Kalama Sutta to not believe something just because it's tradition or because a teacher said it, but to test it through your own experience. Test this teaching. Try bringing awareness to your patterns. Try offering compassion to yourself and your lineage. Try making one different choice. See what happens. Notice the shifts, however subtle. The Dalai Lama reminds us, a disciplined mind leads to happiness, and an undisciplined mind leads to suffering. Healing family karma is the ultimate discipline. The practice of consciously choosing awareness over automation, compassion over judgment, action over avoidance. It's choosing to wake up when it would be easier to stay asleep. I want to be honest with you. This work isn't easy. There will be days when you feel like you're making no progress, when the old patterns seem as strong as ever, when you're exhausted from fighting battles that aren't even really yours. That's normal. That's part of the process. Healing isn't linear. It spirals. You circle around the same themes at deeper levels, releasing new layers each time. On those hard days, remember what the Buddha taught. No one saves us but ourselves. No one can and no one may. We ourselves must walk the path. You have to be willing to do this work. No one can do it for you. But also remember, you don't have to walk it perfectly. You don't have to heal everything. You don't have to never repeat a pattern again. You just have to be a little more aware than you were yesterday, a little more compassionate, a little more willing to try something different. That's enough. That's everything. In Buddhist cosmology, the fact that you're even aware enough to do this work means something significant. You've accumulated enough merit, enough positive karma from this life and perhaps others to have the capacity for awareness. That's not small. Most people live their entire lives completely identified with their conditioning, never questioning it, never seeing it. You're seeing it. That's already a form of freedom. The Dalai Lama says, "Be kind whenever possible. It is always possible." Be kind to yourself on this journey. Be kind to your ancestors who did the best they could. Be kind to the patterns that once protected you, but no longer serve. Kindness is not weakness. Kindness is the strength that allows transformation to happen. Remember too that you're not doing this alone. Even if you feel isolated, even if your family doesn't understand what you're doing, you're part of a larger movement of people waking up, people choosing to break cycles, people willing to feel what was unfelt and say what was unsaid. We're all in this together, doing our own version of this work. You are not your family's karma. You are not doomed to repeat their mistakes or carry their pain forever. You are a conscious being with the power to choose, to heal, to transform. As the Buddha taught in his final words, all conditioned things are impermanent. Strive on with diligence. Your family's suffering is a conditioned thing. It arose from causes and conditions, and through your awareness, your compassion, and your practice, it can cease. You are the break in the chain. You are the filter in the river. You are the cycle breaker. You are exactly who your family line has been waiting for. So take a deep breath. Feel your body. Notice what's here right now. And know that whatever you're carrying, you don't have to carry it alone or forever. The Buddha showed us the path. The Dalai Lama reminds us that the purpose of our lives is to be happy, and that happiness comes from transforming suffering, not avoiding it. The work won't always be easy, but it will always be worth it. Because every pattern you break, every wound you heal, every moment you choose awareness over automation, these are acts of revolution. You're not just changing your life, you're changing the course of your entire lineage. And that's not just healing, that's sacred work. That's love reaching backward and forward through time, transforming everything it touches. That's the Bodhisattva path made real in your daily life. That's the Dharma in action. Thank you for being willing to do this work. Thank you for being a cycle breaker. The ripples of your healing will reach further than you know, touching lives you'll never meet, blessing generations not yet born. That's the power of transforming karma. That's the gift you give by choosing to heal. May you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you be free from suffering. And may all beings, in all times, benefit from your courage to heal. May your ancestors rest in peace. May your descendants inherit freedom. And may you know, deep in your bones, that you are exactly where you need to be, doing exactly what needs to be done. The Buddha taught that even a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. You've already taken that step by watching this video, by being willing to look at these patterns, by opening yourself to the possibility of healing. Keep walking. Keep practicing. Keep choosing awareness and compassion. The path is long, but you're not alone. And every step matters.